off-season, get some of these guys back for the majority and basically the remainder of the summer to get our program started. And we're happy about that. The month of May has been really uneventful, so to speak. A lot of recruiting and a lot of planning just in terms of moving into our off-season. So, like I said, this will be a big weekend to get through and our guys back, and looking forward to our summer plan.
First question, Alex. The three guys that tested the process that decided to come back, what kind of feedback did they get? Did they work out for any teams?
I'm not sure. Justin spent the majority of his time in Bloomington. He's in class right now, so he did a lot of working out. Really put some time in on his game. And Al's been home for the month of May, doing his stuff, and Devontae's also been home. So they've been on their own. I think their feedback, really came more along the lines from the advisory committee and whatnot, and they were able to probably put themselves in some situations where they were able to work out with some facilities and whatnot. But the fact that all three guys are coming back, we're thankful for that. And very, very excited to get those guys moving forward.
Mike, any update on Jerome Hunter? And do you see him being able to make an impact?
Jerome,
yeah.
Yeah, Jerome is in Bloomington. He's continuing with his rehabilitation. He's been elevated in terms of his activity level. He's doing a lot more individual stuff, but he's far away from having any indication or any final decision on where he goes from here. We're probably looking towards July and August to seeing what he's capable of doing as we continue to progress him with what the doctors and the training staff have done with his plan. But we're excited to get him back on the floor. He is doing a lot more individual work. He's doing a lot more weight training and conditioning, so it's good to have him back and being active.
Jeff?
How do you envision using Deron and Joey, and how do you think Joey and Trace can fit together as far as guys who potentially can be on the court together?
Well, I mean, that's big ball. That's fine. It's right there. To have three guys, really for the first time since I've been here, to be able to man that position and at least have that depth with three guys that are able to play what you would call other big guys on the floor. But I think all three guys have unique games where they can play with one another. Deron obviously is a very, very skilled passer. He's very, very good in the low post. Joey's very good in the low post as well, just being able to play against him and scout him. He's another guy that can move around. But we're going to get those guys moving around a little bit. Trace is going to be able to play with both guys. And one of the two, whoever's on the floor, will have to be able to defend on the perimeter a little bit. Now we'll confirm it, so to speak, what combinations work. But the depth at that spot and to have that type of size and strength, so to speak, is a positive.
Kevin, Dustin, and Stu.
Coach, how do you address shooting in the offseason? And are you a guy that
Shoot more.
tinkers? Are you a guy that tinkers with mechanics, or are you a guy that lets people shoot the way they've shot, or how do you handle that aspect of it?
I think it's tough. I think when guys get there, the biggest thing is repetition. Guys got to get in the gym. They got to do it every day. You got to shoot the shots that you're shooting in the game. And we've had some guys really progress, to different percentages in our first 2 years, and it's going to have to keep going. And I think Armand coming in has a chance to help us behind the line. Denise getting a year older, and Jerome, depending on where he's at, are all good perimeter shooters that are young. They got to develop, but we'll work hard. Our individual plan and our team guys all summer long will be hitting the gym, and that's a big focus for everyone. Is just to continue to become a better shooting team, a better long distance shooting team with more confidence. And it's repetition. It's being able to put them in situations where they're repping it in game speed and game time, and hopefully over the course of time, anytime I've been around it, the more you do it, the better off you get.
Archie, I wanted to go back to what Jeff asked about playing Trace with those guys. I mean, do you view Trace as more of a 4, more of a 5? I mean, where do you think he fits at this stage?
In this day and age with basketball, it's hard to pin a guy down and say what he is. I think Trace is very mobile. He's very athletic and long. He's better than a lot of people probably give him credit for offensively and putting the ball on the floor and facing up. Than he's probably been able to show. I also think that with him, the big thing with him is development. He's going to have to develop a way of playing on the perimeter as well. But he's a good, he's a high school All-American. He's very talented. That has a lot of room to grow up and get better, which is a good thing. He's basically was on campus. Him and Armand today. They started off. And, Trace was I think 6'9 3/4" and 245 pounds as a true freshman. He's a big kid, but his mobility and his athleticism and his face-up game and some things, those are some things that we're going to really look to take advantage of.
He's got a couple open scholarships after everything from that's going on this spring with some of the returnees. Do you envision using that in this current cycle, or are you planning to bank them? What does that look like for you?
Well, be able for the first time since I've been here is to have some roster flexibility with our scholarship situation. It's never good in 2019 to have 13 guys on scholarship. It just doesn't work at this level. You got to have some flexibility. For us to have a little bit of a breathing room, to have some flexibility to do what we want, we would only use one if it was an impactful decision. We're not going to use one that's going to just be hasty. We've had all spring to kind of evaluate things. But I think going into the 2020 class with some more windows to add some more bodies in that class is something that we look forward to. And, in this day and age with the transfer portal, the NBA draft process, your roster is in constant flux. I mean, you got guys coming and going, as soon as the season ends, and you never know. I mean, you could have a guy transfer, 2 guys go pro. Next thing you know, you're going to have some more options. So for us, we're going to be very, very smart with it. We would only do anything right now or moving into next year if it was very impactful for us. But to be able to have a bigger 2020 recruiting opportunity is exciting to us.
Along those lines, of chemistry sometimes a bit better with 11 guys. Maybe
Yeah, without question. I mean, I think the best teams have the best chemistry, quite frankly, are all enjoying it. Sometimes when you have 13 guys on scholarship, 12, if 12 and 13 aren't redshirting or injured, you have some dynamics you have to deal with playing time. And to be able to go into this season a little thinner on that, to me, gives guys more of a light at the end of the tunnel where they have a real purpose and they can see themselves being a part of things for the long term.
Archie, from a big picture sense, as you look back at last season, now moving into this season, what do you most want to see out of your team, and where are you most confident that you're going to see it?
Well, I think, that at the end of the day, when you're losing a lot of guys after your first season to graduation, you're bringing in a lot of young kids. And the mix of the young and the old is sometimes the tricky situation where not all the times are you ready, the maturity level that it takes to be good, especially in the Big Ten. At times, we have to grow up faster. And I think bringing in 3 more guys, Joey being older, having our freshman class get that year under their belt, that gives you a little bit more confidence that you're a little bit older, a little bit stronger mentally. You've been through it one time, and then you hope that your juniors and seniors, now that they've been here a couple years and have played a significant role on the team, that those guys sort of take ownership. But we're looking for a big summer. Togetherness, continuity, our team just in general with chemistry is something you're always on a quest to deal with, but we want our guys clearly heading into the season with a much different confidence level from the returners.
Coach, what are some of the challenges in replacing guys like Romeo and Juwan?
I mean, Juwan's a graduating senior, so you're seeing that one coming. Romeo is an incoming freshman. You planned on him leaving, so it wasn't as if those things were surprises. You 2 talented guys. Juwan had a great 2-year run with us in terms of his productivity, and he'll be missed greatly. But that's a great opportunity for other guys to step up and grab different roles, kind of like he did when we first got here. Romeo's freshman season. Although everyone wants to nitpick it apart, he did some amazing things for us as well. His productivity as a true freshman stacked up against the college basketball, world, really, really looks good. And you just think about the league that we just played in terms of the talent level, the teams, and what he was going up against as a freshman was as good as any. So those 2 guys, they did their part. Now it's, Rob Finnessy's got to develop a bigger role offensively. Devontae and Deron, being seniors, have to now elevate their games a little bit as well. And I think with opportunity, you get great confidence, and I think you'll see guys change the complexion of sort of their careers as they get older. That's what happens.
Archie, what do you think of Romeo's potential at the next level?
Oh, Romeo's got the untapped potential. Physically, he's as gifted as any guy you're going to see. From a basketball perspective, he's still young in terms of learning the game. He played 1 year in college. Now he's getting ready to head into the next level. And I think he's so mindful and he's so smart in terms of processing things that it doesn't take him long to pick up on what he needs to do. And I think, obviously coming off of the season that he had, being able to fix his thumb is a big part of this last 4 or 5 weeks. As he's headed into the combine and doing his interviews, that's where he's really going to stand out because he's such a great kid. He's so humble. When you sit down with him, you start to really feel like you're dealing with a professional. You're dealing with somebody who knows what's going on around him. He's not oblivious to what's happening. So I think that's the one thing that's going to give him a great edge, his personality, his humility, and obviously I think he's a very, very hard worker. You combine those things in the right environment, he's going to take off. I expect him to have a great career.
Coach, we know about Nate, but do you have any other updates on your walk-on situation?
I'm sorry.
On your walk-on situation, do you have any other updates right now beyond Nate Childress?
No walk-on updates right now. We're sort of figuring out what we're trying to do here as we head in there. But obviously those guys play a big role for us.
Race is a guy, obviously.
Race.
The red shirt and the injury. I know we talked to you about him kind of through the back end of last season, but just what do you see as the important keys for him through the summer into the fall, other than obviously staying healthy and on the court?
Yeah, Race had just a very, very difficult year. Unlucky, whatever it may be. He had one of the harder years that a guy could go through. Chose not to redshirt, chose to find a way to get to the court, and I think that's a credit to sort of how he stayed with it. You saw towards the end of the year he was able to help us, and he barely had any playing time leading into February or March, wherever it was. So he's got to have a good off-season health-wise. He's got to continue to get his body back, get in great shape. And then I think the thing that he has to do for us as he gets a little bit older, Race has a good IQ. He has a good feel. He can play on the perimeter. He can play inside. And just developing a confidence level offensively where he's starting to shoot the ball with range. He's starting to be able to play inside out a little bit. And he's able to bang and be able to rebound for us a little bit. So he gives us a third-year player. Really hasn't got going yet, but he's actually a third-year player, so he's got some experience to him. Big thing for him is health. Coming off of the season that he had and being able to rebuild his confidence level, his conditioning level, and hopefully get a little bit of luck here where he gets a stretch where he can get going.
Coach, you've been through a couple grinding Big Ten seasons, one scheduling issues in the first year when it was in New York, and then a lot of injuries last year. How have you grown, and what have you learned as a coach through those stretches?
I think you just got to coach the day. You can't get caught up in everything that's going on. You learn how to control what you can. You block noise out as much as you possibly can, because especially in this past year, every single night was amazing. The competition level of our conference. It showed in the tournament. I think it showed in obviously Final Four. Opportunity for Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue obviously going very deep as well, Maryland being able to win a game, I think. So, I think you have to be able to focus on your guys, you have to be able to prepare your guys to play, because if you get caught up in oh man, who's the next one? Oh, wow, we got 6 of 8 on the road, what are we going to do? You start to play that game, you start to coach against your schedule rather than just dealing with what you have to deal with every day to get better. And I think that's a huge part of our team next year, being able to approach the season in a different manner. It's not about getting caught up in all of what's coming. It's all about what's right now. And I think, like I said, you get through that for a year. You're a young guy like Ron. You get through that as a second-year player like Al. You kind of get over that hump of what's next. I think we have a group now that should expect this is sort of how this goes. Right? This is going to be hard work. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we got to hang in there through tough times and find a way to do it. I think that you'll see a group next year that's a little bit more mature in terms of handling some of that stuff.
You obviously have a lot of rotation flexibility as far as you can play 3 guards, a forward and big. You can go 2 guards, 2 forwards and big. How are you going to kind of approach that? Are you going to pick one idea and stick with it, or is there going to be maybe some adjustment based on the opponent? How it goes?
We're going to have to prepare this team to be able to play a couple of different styles, and with that meaning that one group of people probably won't be able to play the one way, but a different group of people obviously could come in and play the game a different way. They have to have a different feel, especially offensively, with playing with different combinations of people. And I think that will help, sort of our chemistry on the floor. Defensively, we are who we are, and we'll continue to grow that area of our game. It was a strength for us at times last year that gave us a chance. And I think as we evolve sort of this team, I think there's going to be a couple different looks that we have to be prepared to play. Small, big, you never know. But there's got to be a different combination when you have that many guys of equal size and height that all play together. So that'll be a big part of the summer, is grouping these guys and figuring out, how and what they do with one another.
How big for your season will be the development of the guards, especially the returning guys with Finney and Devontae and Al?
Huge. The guard plays everything in college. Guard play in the Big Ten is everything. You look at the success level of the teams that are really achieving at a high level right now. They've got terrific point guard play. They've got terrific shooting. They've got terrific assist to turnover ratio. So for those guys, being Devontae as a senior, Al now going into his 3rd year, you bring in Rob, who played a lot of minutes, and now is more experienced as a sophomore. He should be viewed as an upperclassman. Got to bring Armand along a little bit. And I think just in general, once you start to look at what we're doing, Neezy and Jerome and to knock on wood with those two guys. They give you that flexibility for bigger guard besides shoot. So, for us, I'm anxious to get hold of it here when the season ends. Next thing you know, April, May turns into a circus recruiting. Team transfer, what's going to happen here. And now once you get back to June, it's kind of like taking a deep breath and it's like, okay, we're here. And I'm really excited, to be honest with you, to add Joey. I think Joey's got a really, really good personality that's much needed in our locker room. He's got a great personality, voice, competes. I think he's going to bring a different element to what we have. We need some personality with these guys a little bit to juice them up a little bit. So I'm really, really happy that Joey decided to join us. I think that's an experience level and another guy that's obviously played at a high level.
Last question, Zach.
You talked a little bit about Armand there in the guard rotation. Just you've had to sort of challenge young guys in some of those spots. Certainly last year. Can you maybe, I don't want to say protect him, but bring him along a little bit more at his pace this year with some guys coming back? Or is he a guy that maybe you want to challenge early and see if he can carve a role?
I think he wants challenged. I think Armand's really improved over the last 18 months. I think he's given himself a chance to come in and be a contributor. With our depth, I don't see why he's not going to be a part of what we're doing. But last year, we played relatively, we started 2 freshmen and played 30 minutes a game. We hope that 30 minutes a game for Rob carries over to almost an upperclassman type feel. So you have a strong presence there defensively. I think Devontae finished the season really, really well. He played extremely well for us in the last 6 to 8 games. He gave us a chance to be right there at the end because of the way that he scored the ball. So I think he's got to come in with that type of confidence level. Al works extremely hard, played a lot of minutes going into his 3rd year. You would hope that those guys really know what's going on where you're not having to really pull and choose. I think Armand's going to come in. He's going to have a really nice group of guys ahead of him that he can learn off of and play with. And he's not going to be thrown into the fire, so to speak, on day one. He's going to have to earn it. But I do feel that Armand's going to contribute to our team. I love the way he shoots the ball right now. He had a terrific season scoring the ball. And I think he's a kid that really, really works hard. I'll see him get better fast.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.